When I came here and I look, everybody looked the same to me. And these companies are trying to create these global capability centers in India. All the time, like for almost 100 years, there was no pollen on the face of earth. But if I'm an immigrant and I'm stupid, so how can I take your job, right?
How did you get an invitation from the prestigious Polish Academy of Science?
The text is sent to the LLM and the LLM processes the text. Whereas we are not text-based, we are feelings-based. In Krakow, there are a lot of tech companies. Poland is opening doors and providing opportunities for people from other countries to come and work. The streets, they're not that clean as here. So the discipline that I saw here is...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Today, I'm in Krakow. I'm joined by Amir Khan. Amir Khan is a data scientist and a machine learning expert. He's been in Poland for 9 years. First, he came on invitation from the Polish Academy of Science. Since then, he never looked back. Amir, thank you for doing this video with me.
Thank you very much, Sharif. I'm very pleased that you have come and visited me in Krakow. So I know Sharif from another city, Poznan, and now we're in Krakow. Krakow is in the southern east city, very beautiful and historic. And thank you very much, and I welcome you. And I'm very pleased to be on this show.
Yeah, amazing, Amir. So yeah, the first question is that everyone will ask is, how did you get an invitation from the prestigious Polish Academy of Sciences?
Yeah, thank you very much. So it wasn't some pre-settled or a pre-planned thing that I applied to something. It was more evolution of the stuff that I was already working on. So I was working on a proposal of emergent behavior of a swarm of robots with the University of New South Wales in Canberra. So that summer of 2016, I spent in creating and developing that proposal, that how in the future 3-4 years of studies, how I would work on that proposal. And then I applied for a scholarship in the University of New South Wales, but that cycle of scholarship, I couldn't make it to the top 10 or whatever that number of scholarships were. Yeah, we didn't qualify. Yeah. And the professor that I was working with, he didn't have funding of his own. However, I sent the same proposal to a number of other places, and Poland was one of them. So University of Adam Mickiewicz, which in Poznan at that time, there was a European Union scholarship by the name KNOW. So that translates to the English now, but that means something else. And I was inducted or offered a scholarship from that. I also had a scholarship from University of Stirling, which is in the UK, but they were a bit late, and the Polish KNOW scholarship was more faster, right? They give me this acceptance earlier than that. So, and also send me a ticket, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was the fun part, right? And then I left, and I ended up in Poznan.
So Poland wasn't your plan from the beginning?
No. As I said, that there was no like a pre-planned thing, that there was a scholarship or a program like the United States Fulbright or the Shiving Scholarship, right? These are very well-known scholarship streams, where if you want to be a Fulbright scholarship, you apply, then you appear in some sort of this sorting
like
and appraisal. Not lottery, but it's more like you pass through, just like getting a job. So you pass through a number of stages, right? But essentially, the key for people like us who are watching this video and want to get a scholarship or avail the opportunity to learn in these universities, the key and the secret here is to build relationship with the professor. So for example, you are working in machine learning. So machine learning, or currently we will talk about generative AI, the large language models. So these things are very diverse and bigger fields. You can find research groups in different universities which targets and work especially in one of the field, for example, on the memory association, or for example, in using GPUs for retraining LLMs. So you already have the foundational model, then how do you retrain to repurpose the foundational model for something else.
To fine-tune the model.
To fine-tune the model, right? And then even fine-tune, you can go, and there is a lot of things. Like, for example, there are more mathematical stuff like hyperparameterization, or working on convex optimization, or something else. Like the opportunities actually are unlimited, and depends on your interest. So you can figure out your interest. So for example, the work that I did was mostly on gain modulation. That is a form of, in simple words, how the muscle memory works.
Okay.
So we have a lot of stuff around the brain, human brain, but and we take inspiration. That's how we see the advancement in machine learning models. But what happened is that nobody understands actually how the human brain works.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah. No, it's not essentially impossible, but it's like so many parameters that you cannot have a mathematical model. The mathematical models that we have is a stripped down abstraction of the whatever this magic happened in the brain.
Yeah, because in the brain we have something called like metacognition. We have thoughts about other thoughts.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's impossible to model it, because now in LLMs we first give them the data, and then we ask them to learn and give like the conclusions. But our mind or our human learns by experience.
Exactly. So our mind is parallel, right? It is massively parallel. It requires very little energy. Yeah, and it is very, very fast. And we are so good in pattern matching. We're so good in our recall time. Recall is like one of the primary metrics on which we measure a machine learning algorithm. So our recall is very great. Our memory, like as a human, is amazing, is robust, right? You think about something, so you can recall a relevant reference back in time, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or something you even read, right? And also, we have a way of somehow limit ourselves, which the LLM doesn't have. So for example, if your kid or someone is using an LLM and or for a psychology purpose, we do not want the LLM to push a person to make suicide, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if somebody asks you, you also can say, oh, okay, yes, you can just jump off third floor and kill yourself, but you would hold yourself.
You will
because
take
this,
the responsibility.
Yeah, exactly, because these are the guardrails that nobody need to teach you. We learn it through our life and as we pass on, right? Yeah, go through the life. But the LLM, you have to teach it, right? So this is very, very important. Also, another important thing is the context, right? So for example, a word literally, if in our conversation, the context is what actually plays a lot of role. So how I can put it into words so that everybody would understand is sometimes the literal meaning, we often say that, no, I don't mean it literal meaning. It's more contextual.
There are nuances.
Exactly. And these niche or these subtle peculiarities, which only, let's say we have been through some experience together. And if I make a reference to that experience, only you would understand and the rest of the people wouldn't. Because we share that common memory of that particular experience. Let's say we were on a roller coaster.
It's syntax versus semantics.
Semantical and context oriented. Like means the words could be like, we say that, oh, you should be like politically correct to say some words, right? But in a context, the words can have totally different meaning, because it in that particular instance, you refer to that event or that experience that we had together. So we have like an album of experiences that we traverse through and then find that particular one and refer to that, oh, that's what I meant.
And the LLM, you need to teach it from the ground up.
So LLM, you need to teach it, right? LLM, you need to find a way to refer and to find out that. So for example, right now, vector embedding or just embedding is one way that what we do with the words, and basically it's text-based, right? So you cannot talk to the LLM. Even if you talk to an LLM, what happens is that it is converted to text, and the text is sent to the LLM, and the LLM processes the text. So essentially, it's a text-based system. Whereas we are not text-based, we are feelings-based, we are text-based, we are visual-based, we are audio-based, we are haptic-based, like, you touch something and you can see that, oh, this tea is warm, right? So in this way, the amount of information that we bring in as a human is really too much, and the LLM doesn't have that, right? So that's why the understanding of the environment where the LLM is supposed to operate is limited, because it cannot fully understand what you mean, you know.
Yeah, that's why general LLMs like ChatGPT and Claude, they are not good at specific tasks. They know everything, but they are not very, very good at one task. And that's the big issue with this with this large LLM models, especially the consumer ones.
So right now the LLM models are going in this way that we have foundational models. So the foundational models, as you mentioned, ChatGPT 5.0 is the foundational model. Claude is a foundational model, and Gemini from Google is a foundational model. So these foundational models, when they are presented to the market, what happened is that they pass through a benchmark testing. So they are very good in, let's say, coding. So Claude is very good at coding, right?
Top one.
Yeah, and then some mathematical problems or these are called the benchmark test. So on the benchmark test, they say that, oh, ChatGPT 5.2 is better than 5.1, let's say, or it have reasoning, or it have that, or it have this. And it also depends on the number of parameters that they have, how many billions of parameters. Every parameter actually is something that you can change during training, right? So what happened is that they are good in the specific task, because like a Claude is very good in coding. You can create an agent and that can review your code, or use computer, or create a merge request or a pull request, right? Or write, like for example, if you know about Playwright is such a framework where you can write test cases for, let's say, a website. Previously, people used to write in Selenium, right?
Selenium, yeah.
Yeah, and then now with the Playwright, you can write this total use case, and an LLM can, you know, actually LLM would serve as a brain of that agent. And then the agent can do it for you.
Yeah, for us, like right now, are using Playwright to scrape websites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, like, you can use an LLM as a judge. For example, you ask LLM something and then you're not sure how it is, so you can pass the result to another LLM and you
double check.
Exactly, double check it, right?
It's very smart. Actually, we use this technique.
Yeah.
We were generating some kind of questions, and
Yeah.
we wanted to be sure that these questions are relevant to the context. So we used another LLM, another model completely, to judge the questions and the answers based on the context.
Exactly. Or even you can go even one step further, which is that you ask the LLM that what kind of prompt should I write to ask this question?
Yeah, to guide him.
Yeah, so it will give you a prompt that you can put in the LLM. But the problem is that you will burn a lot of tokens. And the tokens are expensive, right?
Yeah.
So LLM treat the token as input token and output token. The input tokens are cheaper as compared to the output ones. So if you are using a lot of LLM, right, then it tends to be expensive. So there is another way, like you can have smaller LLM and you can run it from your own devices, such as a laptop or a pad, right? So
like Llama and Llama.
But you know, they are still resource intensive. So that is still, we have to, you know, wait for a certain time that the technology matures or is so robust, or we have models that are like, let's say, this Mistral 7B, 7 billion parameters. I have it on my laptop, but it takes longer. So when it takes longer, then it is no longer useful, right? We want answer right now, like, you know, faster.
So if, let's say, a Pakistani data engineer, he's in Pakistan now and he wants to continue his studies or come to Europe. So you said first he needs to have a relationship with the professors.
Yes, yeah.
And secondly, what kind of projects he needs to work on as a side note?
Yeah, so here it's very important to clarify that if you define yourself as a data engineer, then you are already in the industry. So you do not necessarily need to have a connection or understanding of any communication with a research professor.
Yeah, but now...
Yeah, I mean, like if you are a student and who aspires to study in a European university, then that is valid for that.
Yeah, but in Pakistan, Algeria, like these countries, first he graduates as a data engineer or data scientist.
Yeah.
He cannot find a job.
I mean, because of no experience. Yeah, honestly, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, let's say he needs to have some relationships with professors. Maybe there is an opportunity to work outside this country. And what kind of projects, as of now, like he needs to focus on?
Exactly. Very good question, right? So when we're studying these courses, like for bachelor's or for master's, most of the time these courses are very generic, right? So you study from mathematics, discrete mathematics, calculus, algebra, and then computer theory, right? And then programming and compiler
everything.
construction, like everything, right? And which is important actually. It is very important to build your base. So once you have your base built, right? The ideal way is to work, or in every course to have some project in the course, like really a project, not like you do it for the sake of passing the course or securing some GPAs and stuff, but actually from the perspective of learning, right? So when you have let's say you have this course called operating system, and you try to create a minimal operating system, right?
It will be hard.
Yeah, but there is ways. Like for example, you know a program, right? That there is a program which have another program inside it, right? For example, you communicate. You just have a very complex menu for like in any language, could be C or Python, right? I started with C++, right? So when you do these projects, and for example, in a compiler, compiler construction course, you have a compiler, you tend to or try to create one, or in a website you try to create and really understand the framework. For example, right now React is one of the framework that is widely used. It was introduced by Facebook, right? So in every technology, instead of like running after the tools, because the tools tend to change, right? Like right now, this is happening in the generative AI space. Every week something new is coming.
It's too much to keep up.
Exactly, it is too much to keep up to date.
Yeah. So like, let me give you like a exact question. Is what someone needs to do in order to differentiate himself from everyone, because now everyone will use AI to create something. Let's be fair. Like no one is going to start coding from zero. So that's
so for example, you took the example of data engineering, which is a very good example, right? You don't have the data, you do not know how to bring it from point A to point B, you do not know about transformation of the data, right? All the things involved in it, how the data is stored, how quickly you can retrieve the data. If you do not know about these basic things, about the engines, about schema on write, schema on read, right? These are something basic which will never change.
Always there.
It will always be there.
It's kind of like data structures.
Not data structure, it is more like how the data is actually processed, right?
Like the ETL pipeline.
Yeah, so for example, I will explain this data on read. So let's say I want, you hire me for a project and you have some data already, right? And I bring in this data to my system, or to, let's say, another system where we are trying to do some transformation on this data. So first I need to know the schema, that how many tables you have, what is the column name, what is the column data type. So this is called schema. Like we have a contract that what you are giving me. So that would be like schema on write, that we define everything, that the data you give me, what exactly is that. Schema on read is that I read everything, because now the data is very hybrid, you know. It is not only text. It could be unstructured. It could be just JSON files. It could be Excel. So we do not make a contract, like kind of an agreement that what is the data. The data can come later on. Like you can tell me that, okay, I give you these many things, and what does it mean? It means that. So that would be like schema on write, on read, sorry, schema on read. What I want to say with these two concepts is that these concepts will never change. They can evolve, new tools can be added, new ways can be found and invented to deal with the data, but the original concept will stay the same, right? So in that case, when you are coming, actually the question will come when you will be able to apply the knowledge, right? So you can read like 100 books about something, but if the application of this knowledge is non-existent, in the field, in the industry, you will find a lot of troubles. You will not grow.
You're not valuable.
Exactly. So application of whatever less or more you know, and the application only comes by doing it. For example, you cannot be a good driver by reading a driver's book. You cannot be a good swimmer by reading books about swimming.
You need to swim.
You need to swim, right? And you will make mistake, and then eventually you will find your pace, right? So it's exactly like that. So you will learn by doing it. So I would first. So again, coming to the question, how to do step by step. I think the right way is to create a GitHub profile.
Okay.
Try to make this commit. So in this way, you will learn the basic DevOps way. For example, let's say tomorrow you get an opportunity either in Europe or even in your own country, and you get to work with a team of programmers. How would you work?
You need to
You
collaborate
need
with
to know
something.
yeah, you need to know Git, right?
Yeah,
So
Git.
you give me I can clone the repository, I can work in it, I can add so these are the very basic thing, right? So once you know the basic way, like we know a language, then we can talk further, right? So the work language is this, that you need to know these tools, and then what you do, you create something, not like some exemplary stuff, right? For example, if people can recall the earlier version of Facebook or the earlier version of so many great products today that we see, they were not so impressive at that time, right? They were very primitive.
Yeah, imagine Facebook into.
Yeah, exactly. It was based on PHP, right? And now nowhere you see PHP, right? Because they saw that it was working till a point, but then it was not working. So they created new tools, right? So then came React, a new way how to handle the DOM, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
So the point is that these things will change, but the basic idea that, oh, you can see something and you're willing to get your hands dirty, this will always stay the same.
So you're talking more about frameworks. You need to understand frameworks, like how
Not
things are
framework,
working.
like not only framework, because framework is also like a product of somebody or some company's brainchild, right? They can push one framework today, but tomorrow they will push another one. For example, Angular versus Next.js.
No, I'm talking about frameworks of work, not about.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for example, like you said, you need data in. We need to define the data.
Exactly,
And then
yeah.
we need to define the data out. So that's like
Yes, yes,
framework
yeah.
of work. I'm not talking about the web frameworks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in a nutshell, yes, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that we need to have this this black box approach to it. That hey, that's how it works, and then you learn tools and things and how to make it happen.
Okay, and when we landed first in Poland,
Yeah.
let's say the first few weeks, what was the biggest difference that you noticed from Pakistan? Let's talk about the research aspect.
Okay, so it was like it's a very how to say it was not easy because I came in October, so here was super cold. Yeah, you can see. Yeah,
Yeah, today it's
exactly, it's super cold. Yeah, so that was like the first shock. The second shock, when I came here and I look, everybody looked the same to me. Yeah, yeah. European people joke that if I go to India, everybody will be the same, right? Or if I go to China, everybody. And that's exactly how I felt. I said, oh my God, how I'm going to talk to these people? How I'm going to know that this is Sharif, because everyone looked the same, blonde and blue eyes, everything, everyone the same. But it stays for a while, and of course you are homesick. So I was really even the smell was different. When I first time went to Bidronka, the product there was like it was different, and it takes a lot of time to acclimatize actually.
Adjust
to adjust that what I have to buy, what are these my products, right, that I need to buy, because as a student you don't have a very big stretch of products to buy, also to avoid not buying alcohol.
Alcohol.
And this is pork and this is not pork. So to understand all these things, it takes a pretty big time. And also you need to take help from the people who are already here before you. So I was very lucky to have a friend Yaqub, right?
At that time in 2016,
there
were a lot of Pakistani people.
So in our lab, actually, it is very surprising. In our lab, there was only one Polish person.
Wow.
So we were two people from Pakistan, and we had one lady from Morocco, actually. So it was very, I would say, international. Yeah. Already, yeah. Inside the university, of course, outside. In 2016, there were not many people. Right now, when I was leaving Poznan, there were more people in Poznan, that were international. In the events, you would see more people joining in, right? More people at work also. So yeah, it's which shows that Poland is opening doors and providing opportunities for people from other countries to come and work.
So in the beginning, how did you manage to make Polish friends or to date? How did it look like versus today?
So I think language is one of the biggest tool that you can learn, and then that would open a lot of doors for you, right? And also I was always interested in history, right? And for some reason I found Polish history very interesting, right? So it's like an epic novel, you can say, full
like The
of
Witcher. Do you know The Witcher?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Full of kings. There are a lot of kings, and then one king is fighting another one, and then there was a time, like for almost 100 years, there was no pollen on the face of Earth, right?
Yeah, till after World War One.
Yeah, and then there were a government which was in exile, so the government was operated from the UK. So all these things are very dramatic, right? And it was the first country that the Nazis came and occupied, and then they wanted to Germanize the population and the system. And then after the Second World War end, then with the Russian help, then it was again this thing. So the Polish people always have this somehow.
Resilience.
Resilience, yeah, inside them is the resilience that they kept it alive, but they also have this thing that the world have done something wrong to us, and which is true in many cases, but that's true with a lot of countries. Like, for example, my own Pakistan was a country that never existed before 1947, so we are a product of a colonial breakdown, right?
The Radcliffe line.
Yeah, that's the line which divide the countries, right? But I mean, there was no Pakistan. Even the word didn't exist.
So, at that time, it was British India,
yeah, it was British India, and then after the Second World War, it was very difficult to keep everything together, and they had to leave. So when they left, at that point of time, Pakistan was created. So inside Pakistan, when I compare, in terms of nations, so here it is very homogeneous. People are speaking the same language, and they have more or less same food, yeah. But we are like, we're in that sense of the word, we are not one nation. Like, we are more ethnic groups, right, which are combined and have this political identity as Pakistan.
Yeah, actually, that's why one of the points why India is not as a big power as it should be, because they have so many languages. They have more than 200 language, and then how can you unite people for one cause? If you look at China, China one, they act as one body.
So, like, for example, I can give you this example. So in home, I speak Pashto.
Yeah.
Outside, I talk in Urdu. And if I have to write a letter to the government, I will write and talk in English. So, like, when we are born, we are multilingual, So, this, of course, it's, but, I personally believe that diversity brings more power, and it is more uniting rather than separating people. But you just have to respect the diversity, right? But the problem is that when there are like a race for resources, then we see that the diversity is actually thought of as we versus them. That if you are coming also, you are taking the resource, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you are taking my job, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting thing. For example, people say that in Britain, they say that Irish people are, or like in all the immigrants, all immigrants are like, stupid or something, but they are taking our job. So, for example, if I'm an immigrant and I'm stupid, so how can I take your job, right?
Yeah, because if you look at the hospitals in the UK, half of them are occupied, like the working core is the immigrants.
Exactly. Not even in UK, in Germany, in most of, so immigration actually brings in and adds to the profile of the country. So, for example,
legal immigration.
Yeah, of course, legal immigration. No, like that would not be immigration. That would be, I don't know how we call it.
Illegal.
Yeah, illegal. Yeah. So, but immigration, I think, when it is done, because it is very important to respect the laws of the land. Yeah, and as a law-abiding citizen, or as just any sensible person, irrespective of what color you are, which religion or which nationality you have, just like as a sensible person, the basic civic sense that we have, it is imperative to follow, to respect the laws of the land that you intend to travel. And that's how you will also get this appreciation, recognition, respect in return, and your life would be more happy.
Yeah, actually in Islam, they always teach us that you need to respect the leader of the country you're
Yeah.
in. They hosted you.
Yeah. وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ, right?
Yeah.
أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You are a guest. You should
Yeah.
respect them.
Yeah.
You should assimilate. Unfortunately, that's the case because even, I don't know, in any country where you go, you need to assimilate. Otherwise, you cannot live the full, let's say, Polish experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you did that very well because we're just talking, like before doing this video, you told me that you already passed your Polish
Yeah.
exam.
Exactly. Yeah.
How does it make you feel right now that you can understand Polish people, that you can communicate at a proficient level, let's say? Because B1 is no joke, guys. B1 is the hardest thing ever, especially
Yeah.
in Polish.
So I wouldn't say that I'm like very fluent because I still find myself searching for words, and most of the time the appropriate words, right? Like for example, with friends you can be less careful, right? And you can use any words, and you would understand that, okay, what I mean. But let's say you are in a more official setting, right? There you need to really use like more formal, so I find myself in search of words, and just my vocabulary I feel is limited, right, in that way. So I do not have a lot of very fancy ways of saying something, so I have very basic ones. So it might come across as like I feel it is, or perhaps I just demand too much from myself. But the Polish I speak is very crude and raw. It's not like a fancy one. Means I can express myself better in English.
For sure.
Yeah, if there is a thought, so like an abstract thought, so I can express it there, but not in Polish. Means I would be very much struggling.
Speaking about abstract thoughts, you were writing some poems.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I read one that stuck to me. As you said, I cannot understand humans as complicated as and tangled as spider web.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah.
How that thought came to you? Did it came because of particular experience you had at that moment when you wrote that poems?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is very good to touch on that side. So yes, this is like you go through some experiences, and like generally when you leave your country, right? So everything is a new experience, right? Right from as I mentioned, from what you see, from what you smell, from what you hear, right? And from what you read. Like for example, the first time that when I was in a Polish class that was organized by the university, and the teacher just asked everyone. There were people from China, Korea, everywhere. Yeah, people just asked, write "Dzień dobry."
How can you do
So I write with a G, but it's like DZ. Yes. So you see, like, and now that when I see a DZ, automatically the word G come to my tongue. So I spell it as a G. If you compare it with my first day, I wrote it as G, right? So this is like such a huge leap of learning, right? So yeah, indeed, there is like too many things, right? You leave your country, and then you come to a new place where you have a very limited approach or to people or access to anything, right? And then you build it, your life, you understand it, you learn how to talk to these people, how to make it work, which bus to take and where to go, right? So this everything, when sometimes at night when you're again thinking about it, so it's like thought comes in and you just write. Yeah.
So you thought that the best way to say internalize it is to put pen to paper. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's very good. That's also like a way to help. Everyone can try this actually. To just write.
So journaling.
Yeah, journaling. Yeah, journaling is a way. Yeah.
Did that help you so much in understanding the life in Poland? And
like it's very difficult to say that only that helped me, right? It's
part
very
of it.
difficult. Yeah. So it was so many things. Means life is generally not planned, right? You just go on. You just go on, right? So that's how. So nothing is planned. So I really don't know how to measure it. That okay, that helped me this much percentage, but yes, everything helps. Yeah.
After years in Poland, did you get closer to understanding the Polish mentality, or you still struggle with some things that you cannot get into your head?
Yes and no. The answer is yes and no, because we can. We're like so human nature is like really vast and too complex, right? So I cannot say that because I believe that a person who is raised in Poland would have a very different experience than I had, because I was raised somewhere else, right? So I bring in with me all the biases that I have. I bring in with me all the experiences that I have, right? So for example, my taste buds are not the same as a Polish person, right? You know? For example, if when we celebrate, so we look for a tea and not for a vodka, right? So
No vodka, it's halal.
so you see, like there are these small things, right, which really to your question, that whether I would understand, no, I would perhaps never 100% understand, right? But in terms of like a working relation, yes, I understand. So Polish people are very hardworking people, right? Especially about time. They're very cautious of the time, and they want to be at time, right? On
Yeah,
time,
sure. I
on
noticed
time.
that,
Yeah, perhaps earlier, right? And they have good work ethics, right? The discipline that I saw, right? Like it was very, for me, it was mind blowing. Even I visited other countries like Stockholm, Sweden, Stockholm. There I saw that people are not taking care of this pedestrian signs, right? Even if it is red, but if there is no car, they will just go.
Yeah.
But here,
Hey, wait.
yeah, in Italy, if you have been to Italy,
Come on,
right? And like the streets, they're not that clean as here. So the discipline that I saw here, it's like amazing. So when I told one of my friend, he visited, you know, from France, and when we were just exactly in the same position, crossing a zebra, and it was red, and I stopped, right? Because I came from Poland, right?
Yeah, 9 years.
Yeah. So when he was going, so I kind of hold his hand, and he said, "Oh my God, you are institutionalized."
Yeah.
I said, "No, it's just red, so we don't go, you know."
Yeah. In Poland, they respect the rules.
Yes, and this is very good.
For sure.
Yeah, this is very amazing. Yeah.
It's very good. That's why Poland is one of the safest, not if the safest countries in Europe or in the world, actually.
Yeah, yeah, and it is growing. Like for example, if you have seen the current indicator of progress.
GDP.
So for example, the GDP at the government level, but I mean just normal. Like you see, the real estate prices are high, raising every year. So that means it is a place where people want to live.
So it means the power, but unfortunately, the buying power is not getting.
But the minimum salary is also increasing. Maybe not at the same rate, because we have a huge inflation, right? So the inflation is bringing down. But you know, this is the global factors, like after COVID, everything, and also the war happening in our neighborhood. So all these things somehow affect the economy. Yeah.
So you've been working in Poland for over 9 years. You've seen all the market changes. You've seen the cycles. What do you predict for 2026, especially with the advent of the AI?
Very good question. And personally, we are in Krakow, most of the companies. So Krakow is in Krakow, there are a lot of tech companies, right?
I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah, you noticed that, right? There are a lot of tech companies. So right now, a trend is that there is some concept called global capability centers.
Okay.
So all these companies are trying to create these global capability centers in India, in Philippines. So what I see is that with this shift, so a lot of companies will have their roles reappropriated to these countries, because there it is cheaper to have, let's say, a customer support engineer, right? So a customer support engineer there no longer will be in Poland, but in there, right? But this is also very important, that we do not see AI as a threat, but AI will refine the work that we do, and there will be opportunities, and which are essentially new opportunities coming in. How to do it? For example, I can tell you about AI solution engineering or AI assisted coding, right?
Or AI vibe code cleaner.
Not vibe coding, not vibe coding, because vibe coding have a bad rap to it. Like means you do not understand how coding is, and now you are pretending.
So that's why I asked you about the basics at first. So you need.
So you need to have a very good foundation, and then you can build on the foundation. So for example, like right now, somebody asks you to write an email or a report or summarize 20 pages of a PDF. You don't actually have to do it. You can, leverage this power that is given to you by Copilot or by any other LLM, right? You
Yeah.
can use it. So any workforce that would be accustomed and would have this little barrier of entry to accept these tools and use these tools, they will be the one which will be successful. So now we have like a very good tool, but how to use it? Even, you know, in what I have seen is that companies are doing very basic digital transformation, and they are investing millions and billions of euros in digitally transforming their landscape. Because one company buy another company and it brings with them their IT systems. Now you have two IT systems, the host one and the one that you just bought. And they were created by different people for different purposes, right? So they do not necessarily talk to each other. So integration could be one big deal, yeah. So anyone who is listening or want to connect their work, so you can connect your work and see or explore the opportunities in integration, right? So integration could be a very good one. And then for those integrations, you need to have test, because, for example, now we do something, now we invest time and money in something, we need that it is tested and we are sure that it will work.
It will not break.
Yeah. So integration and then testing, all testing around integration could be a very good area that you can adapt in whatever you're doing right now. So you are in web, that's okay. You're in a front end, that's fine. Just work on this integration, right? If you are in the back end, work on integration. Also in the data space or just generally in any IT tech space, integration could be very helpful.
Yeah. So with all the knowledge that you have now, would you still advise your younger self to come to Poland, or maybe you would say, no, I will go to Germany, I will go to UK? Do you feel like Poland gave you the satisfaction you want, career-wise, life-wise?
Yes, I would say yes. So it wasn't, you know, it didn't happen overnight. Yeah, of course it takes time. Yeah,
sure.
It's not overnight, and it takes time. So wherever you are, it actually, I would say, it doesn't matter that much wherever you are. Generally, European countries are more like egalitarian, so they're based on equality, and they reward you as a good worker rather than who is your father. Yeah, exactly. So I think everywhere it is good, but you have to wait. You have to, you know, go through your process, and then there will come a time where you will be rewarded, right? So, for example, if truth be told, I didn't start it as engineering manager, right? I started as answering phone calls for in a call center, in a customer service. And then in 3 months' time, I was promoted, not promoted, but there was a new role for a senior data analyst, right? And there was a test for it. They have given a takeaway exam, and everybody applied in this group. So we were working in shifts, and I was serving the North American marketplace. And I also did that because I was a student of a PhD, right?
Yeah,
and I was answering phone calls, so it doesn't match, right? So what I'm saying is that nothing happens overnight. You have to, you know, go through, struggle through. And I could have said, oh my God, I cannot do this. I am doing this. Why should I be answering? But you have to tell yourself, no.
Push yourself.
Push yourself. That's the way to go, you know, that's the way to go. And then I get into that, and I learned a lot of things. For example, that was the first time that I learned about Power BI, right? And the whole Power BI, the whole business intelligence reporting structure from West Point in the US was transferred to Poznan. And I was the only one-man army, right? Doing everything from end to end. So there I learned a lot. And then subsequently in my next job, it just gets refined and refined, yeah? So you see, so I was coming from like a very scientific background who program in Python and C++ about robots in simulation. And then I was writing M code, SQL to understand some business questions, right?
Something different if you think about it.
Not so much different because you can connect the dots. So for example, the way you can explain a causality. So when I take on my next job, I was very lucky to have this boss, Steve. And where he gave me this opportunity to explore and work with the data in ways and understanding and answering the questions, right? And there I see that, okay, in the scientific data, the question and answers you look for in scientific data, they are not so much different than what you look for in the business data. You just need to apply some ways, either similar or not, and you can find some causality, you can connect the dots, and then they're translated to the business. And that's where the real money is, actually. So you can have the best understanding of stuff and this mathematics, but if you cannot translate it to the business or the impact that it can bring in, or it can unlock some revenue that is holed up somewhere, and you can, like, you are able to explain it to the business people who make decisions, that's where money is, actually.
Yeah, exactly. We did this workshop in my company, and one key takeaway, my manager, she said that if you don't have a business case for implementing AI, you're just wasting money.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what we see with the AI hype. Every company is investing billions.
Exactly. So that's exactly the point. Now we have this generative AI and LLM, but do you need it for your business?
Sometimes,
If you don't need it, you don't have to use it, But when it is being pushed, so everybody thinks that, oh, I need to know this, right? Just like sometimes it was about crypto, right?
yeah, everyone is doing crypto, crypto.
So like crypto, Web3, 3.0, blah, blah, blah. This is like something that is the future. And Solidity was the language, the contracts that on blockchain, right?
Web3.
Yeah, everybody was working on that one, right? And now we do see the application of it. It's not that it is gone. There is an application. There is a parallel DeFi structure of finance, right? And it is being adopted by banks, right? Very reputable financial institutions. But the point is that do a normal person or a normal business would benefit from it? What would be the application for them? Because using a new tool or a technology also comes with a cost. The cost of training your people, the cost of maintaining it, the cost of developing future users and future leaders. Like now that with time I see this technology and the use of technology, or even the business around this technology that's being conducted, I see that the more it is not only that I grab this opportunity right now, but it is also about who is going to support what I left. So this is more like a supply chain. That's what, if you look in from that perspective, right, you will get a position that's either emptied by someone or that is being created by a new need. Like as I told you, the current trend in the industry is that it is being outsourced to India and Philippines, right?
Because it's cheaper.
Because it is cheaper, right? But that is not the only thing. Or for example, there is another way that people are engaging consultants, and a company have a lot of consultants who do the work, for example, from Accenture or IBM, right? But then it is another problem that the knowledge that is being created, it also goes out. So if you want to internalize the knowledge, right, because the brand or the company, when it is created, it is expected that it will survive for years, right? For hundreds of years, right? It's not that we just want to do something for this year and then scrap it. No, companies carry on this history with themselves. Like for example, look at Nestle, more than 100 years old, right?
Still going.
Yeah, Shell, any company, you just name it, they're like 100 years old or even more. Yeah. So there is like this problem, everything have like a catch in there. So no definite answer. And the more you are in and see more things, the less you would be very sure about an answer. Like I cannot tell you that, hey, learn this thing and you will be successful. No, this would be a very, very simplistic way of looking at the current tech scenario.
But would you say that whatever you do, you should learn the basics first?
Yeah, that's primary. That's
what I would say, yeah.
And always open to learning. Always open to learning. Because there would be things which you don't know, but you can learn, So you can learn and you can get up to speed. For example, Google just introduced a new tool called anti-gravity.
Okay.
So anti-gravity is a tool that is, in a nutshell, is an integration with the Visual Studio Code. Yeah.
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. So it's like, like another attempt to create the cloud agent, right?
Agent, yeah.
So what I want to say is that you must always be open to new things. So just explore it. But there are also like open source, for example, Roo code is also a way how it can, the code now it have two modes. One is an architect mode. So it can think as an architect to give you a blueprint of the whole project, a scaffolding of the whole React or Next.js or a Python project, right? From end to end. So these are the things like you must always be open to learn, and then it will be easier and not to fail.
Yeah. Do you think Poland is still worth it in 2026?
Yeah, indeed.
Especially with they are tightening the immigration rules and everything.
I really don't know what exactly is being changed, right?
Because they changed the time in order to get the citizenship.
Yeah.
From like just 3 years on the EU long term to 10 years. And also from getting married, because in the past, if you get married, you live with your wife for 5 years and then you are eligible for citizenship. But now you need to live with her almost 13 years. What do you mean? You see, so
yeah. Like, again, for people like me, like you coming from the background, right? So for us, the passport is a really big deal, right?
Yeah.
So our passport is so limiting. For example, if you don't have this Carta Pobeto, you cannot go to any Schengen country, actually.
Cannot travel,
right? Even so, last year I went to Morocco, and I had to get a visa for Morocco because of my passport. So now imagine, you don't have to have the visa, and I have to get the visa, and we have, let's say, $1,000 to spend. So when we land in Morocco, you will have $1,000 to spend on your holiday, and I would have 900 because I already gave 100 in the visa.
Yeah.
and now just thinking loudly, I come from a poor country, right? So I am the one who needs money more, yeah? And you are from a European country, you don't need. So you are like, let's say you're richer, right, than me. So the richer guy gets more money, and the poor guy who needs money, he's being taxed and fined, and
Yeah.
So I have to pay like this 100. So we will always have this desire to change our passport, right? Because the passport is a very limiting thing in our life, right?
Yeah, I think you always feel a little bit inferior in this kind of stuff.
Of course.
You cannot
get on that line.
Wait.
Yeah,
so that's why most people from third world countries, they always want to have the passport, to have the Carta Pobeto. It's kind of stability,
Of course.
It's stability.
So this is now the third world country concept is a bit older. Now they are called the Global South. So we're the Global South. So in the Global South, I think that Pakistan is a very rich country, and same Algeria is also.
Yeah.
But what we lack is that we have not reached our full potential.
Yeah, but
in terms of the governance, in terms of the systems, like for example, if you have a good governance and after graduation you can get a job, right? You can have like a good life. You see the lines, and you can apply to a visa. You don't have to have a passport. You apply to a visa, and with some basic questions you are given. You are not like if I apply to a visa on Pakistani passport, right? I do not get it because they always suspect that I will go and then I'll stay.
Yeah.
But if it was otherwise, that I fill the form for a visa and I answer the questions, I provide all the tickets, the accommodation, everything, right? What is required, and then they just say, okay, it is a legitimate tourist visa. But what we see is that most of the time that is said, no, like okay, you are saying, but no.
Yeah, that's always the case.
It looks like it is green, but no. So in that way, it is very challenging for us. But if you have like a powerful passport, right? You don't need to go through all these application for visa and showing that you are eligible to visit the country, or this guarantee that you will go back after whatever you are doing here, right? So a powerful passport gives you that freedom, right? So we don't have that, and then when we do. And also, it is also that I can say, like, to accept a part of responsibility is that usually people have exploited these things, right? So yeah, this is also true. Like, we don't need to look into just one way, but also accept some mistakes from people from our countries who do this. So yes, that's also correct that
Yeah.
these systems were not stringent in the beginning. They used to believe what you say, but then a lot of such events happen, which lead to them, tightening the noose and not letting everyone and looking at everyone with a suspicion, right? So this is also, I can think it's natural. Yeah.
Yeah. From that, do you think, have you ever experienced some kind of racism or discrimination here in Poland?
Again, yes and no, right? So it is, as I said, right? So Poland is, especially the people, Polish people are also, as I said, very hardworking and in some ways very similar to us.
Yep.
Like, for example, they go to US to work. They go to UK to work. Germany to work, right? So in that way, we are similar because we also go outside. For example, a majority of people from my region, they are working in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, UAE, especially Qatar, right? And they are not doing some very blue-collar jobs, but they're like construction, taxi driver, blah, 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 stuff like this, right? So they bring in the foreign exchange, right? And they are thought of as a source of income for the whole country. And in similar ways are Polish people too, that they go and work in US or in UK, right? So in my experience, all the people that have traveled outside, I found them very open because there they have this first-hand experience with the people who are who they see and what you and they're like us, right? Different. So they do not, they're not like startled or like surprised. They say, oh, okay, I have, for example, Ramadan, right? It's one of our very important month in our Islamic calendar, right? People usually don't know it, right? But I met one guy in Poznan, right? And he used to lay the tiles on the ground in Belgium. And he told me, I know Ramadan. I said, how do you know Ramadan? He said that in Ramadan, when we used to do the work, right? So my friends who were Muslims, they would eat a lot.
because he was fasting the whole day.
Yeah, fasting the whole day.
Exactly.
So then they would eat a lot. Yeah, so that's how I know this. Yeah. Or for example, in another instance, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and he was Polish, right? And he said that I have trouble with Islam, right? And I told him, no, you don't have trouble with Islam. You just don't know about it. Right?
That's all.
Yeah. So if you have questions, you can have questions, right?
Sure.
But what trouble you have, right, is just you don't know. So what I want to say is that the people who have some experience, so for example, like me, I would not be a typical person from Pakistan because now I have seen at a very close angle how people in Europe are or in Poland are, right? So the view that another person from my village will have about Poland, I don't have that. Because he would think, they're just all the time drunk or something, But no, that's not like that, right? So it is both ways. So because when you live there, your perspective changes. They say, oh, okay, they're just like us, right? And then this distance that you might feel, it reduces. As I said in my case, right? So, it's like that, yeah. So as I said, back to the question, right? So I feel that Poland is safe, right? Generally, there is no intentional racism that you might find. But yes, it can happen that on a night out, someone can say something obnoxious or not very polite, right? And that would be primarily because of he would be under some influence or, it is also true that we look different, right? So yeah, it can happen, right? It can happen, but I have personally not been attacked or anything, right? And I cannot like complain on that topic that I was a subject of racism, right? But since we live here, so we hear stories about this, right? If somebody was beaten in a tram or something, right? So that is true that these such event happen, but yeah.
Yeah. So, what's one advice from your life you want to give to the people watching us right now at home?
I don't think that I'm
From your 9 years of
yeah,
experience.
yeah, from my yeah. So what I can share with the viewers, right,
Mhm.
is that it is always good to explore new opportunities. It is always good to live in a different culture that is not yours. So it expands your horizon, it expands your understanding. And as in the discussion I mentioned about that when you come to another country, you also bring the good things that are in you, but also we come with our biases or filters that we have, right? That we are used to look at the world a certain way that is shaped by the society we live in, right? So when you live in another country or a society or a civilization that is different than yours, it actually questions a lot of things, and at times it might question your very basic understanding. And in this whole process you will learn. In this whole process you will learn. The key understanding or requirement is to just keep an open mind and ear and eye to everything, because after all we share this earth all together, so we're not so different. This belongs to everyone. and and that's, I think, I would
Yeah. With that,
recommend. Yeah.
yeah, with that we conclude. Amir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was
It was
an
a
amazing
pleasure.
discussion.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.